Hi guys, it's Paula and I hope you are doing well. This is going to be my October update for Pan That Palette and Baby Pan That Palette. It is really late. We are already 2/3 of the way through October. I don't know if there's any hope of me catching up between now and the end of the year, but I'm just going to keep doing what I can. Life has been extremely busy and I am not having nearly as much time to film and edit as I wish I did. But I will keep doing the best I can, and I apologize if any of you guys have been impatiently waiting for this update for the last 19 days. Let's start with Pan That Palette. I am doing two themes for Pan That Palette this year. The first one is the Kicking It Old School theme, which is the Pantastic Ladies collaboration theme created by Jessica Lee and Dana. And the second theme I'm doing is the Better Together theme, which was created by me and has been getting a lot of support this year from a lot of project panners. And I am extremely grateful to have been able to do this with so many of you guys this year. It's been so much fun. Kicking It Old School obviously is working on an older palette from your collection, if not the oldest. I don't know what my oldest palette is in my collection. It's been a long time. And then Better Together are two separate palettes that go better together instead of separately. The two palettes I've been working on for Pan This Palette this year are just two little quads. It seems so simple. 8 shadows. Anybody could do it, right? Wrong. I cannot do it. Like every year, I've been struggling, but I do have some exciting progress this update for my Pan That Palette. So let's get into it. Let's start with this one, my Clinique quad. This is the teddy bear quad. I believe this was a gift, kind of matches my shirt almost. I believe this was a gift with purchase. This was a hand-me-down from Jamie. She decluttered it to me many years ago, and it is just 4 matte shadows. I very rarely do an all matte look. I love a little bit of shimmer in my looks, so I never considered this a standalone palette for me personally. But let me show you a picture of what this looked like last month, or the last time I filmed an update. And this is what it looks like now. We officially have our first empty pan of eyeshadow in this project for this year. I have finished other eyeshadows this year, but for this project, this is the first. It was a matte off-white shade. I did, after last month's update, repress what I could get into this little compact. It's another empty Clinique compact. And I used it as an under eye setting powder, and it went very quickly after I repressed it, maybe a week or so, and it's gone. So even though I've been struggling with this little quad all year long, my first empty eyeshadow ended up coming from this little quad. And that's of course because I multitasked it. It's always the best way to use up an eyeshadow. Unfortunately, I just have so many of every category of makeup. I really don't feel the need to multitask. But in the case of that matte cream eyeshadow, I felt like that was a safe bet because I really don't have a need for a matte cream eyeshadow on my eyelids for any purpose. I was born in 77, man. I like a shimmery brow bone highlight. I don't really ever go for a matte brow bone highlight. So, and I never remember to set my eyeshadow primer. I just go right in with a transition shade. So I just wasn't using it. So multitasking that shadow in particular seemed like a wise choice. Of course, we've talked about this before. I could probably just mix those 3 shades together and use them as a bronzer or something and just knock them out. But I haven't committed to doing that at this point. Maybe one day I will, but not right now. Okay, let's move on to the other half of my Better Together pairing. That is my Maybelline quad in Natural Shock. This is an old drugstore. Oh boy, we got a problem here. Things are moving around. This is an old drugstore quad that I've had for years and years. Let me show you a little picture of what this looked like last month. And this is what it looks like today. This literally just happened, but the pieces in the lightest shade separated and became loose from the little pan. I hope you can see it, but they're just kind of wandering around in there. So I'm not going to tip this any further. That was a little bit of a shock. Although I did drop this a few weeks ago and I could tell it was a little bit more fragile. Luckily, not too much damage was done, but I wish I could have shown you this 2 minutes ago before it all broke off, because you could get a much better idea of how much progress I made. But as you know, I use this brow bone highlight every single day, no matter what eye look I'm doing. So I've absolutely expanded the pan. Have I used up enough to finish this by the end of the year? I don't think so. Again, still no pan on the third shade, which I use quite often to deepen up my outer V. I have it on today. I am wearing these 2 shades on my eyes today. But yeah, I wish I could say I was using this consistently and with fidelity, but I am certainly not. I've been playing around with all of my eyeshadows that are in various projects this past month and having a good old time. And we'll see what happens. I have been using it like every day this week, but it's going to be interesting to see where this little quad ends up. I can assure you it's not going to end up where I thought it was going to end up, and that is like finished. That's not going to happen. All right, let's move on to my little baby pan that palette. I've been panning the Smashbox Duo. This is a sample of the full exposure palette that I received in an Ipsy bag years ago. I had this in a project. I had this in my pan that palette 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And then I've been working on this as my baby pan that palette ever since. It is not going quickly, but let me show you a picture of what this little guy looked like last month. And this is what it looks like today. So my little matte shade is still hanging around. Hopefully it looks a little bit thinner than it did last month, but there's still quite a bit of product to go. I am, again, wearing both of these shadows today. I have this matte shade in my like transition area, and I have the gold shade all over my eyelid. The most exciting thing about the gold shade is that for the longest time, I've had this kind of like bump right here where some product had kind of like piled up and got like hard pan there. And I used that bump up and it just looks so much flatter now. I have no idea if you can tell how flat it's getting, but I feel like it's really moving along quickly now. I absolutely love these 2 shadows so much. I think they are great quality shadows. And even though I don't think I really expanded the pan much, I know that this pan of eyeshadow is much more shallow than it was a month ago. And I'm very, very motivated. I feel like now that that bump is gone, I'm going to start expanding pan really quickly. I don't know. I could be fooling myself, but I am quite happy with the progress I made. I don't think I'm going to be able to finish the shimmery shade by the end of the year, but I am really going to try and finish the matte shade by the end of the year and get that out of here. So that is it for this little update, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope you are as excited as I am to finally have 1 shadow in this project finished. So we started with 10 and we are down to 9. I'll take it. I'll take it. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.